Hi everyone, Danielle here from World Native, a growing global community of entrepreneurs, innovators, and creatives connecting minds and sharing knowledge. And today I have with me James Woeber. James is thank you so much for being here today.
It's great to be here.
Yes. James is a best-selling author, speaker, and constellations and energy healing facilitator and trainer. For over 2 decades, James has trained and consulted thousands of leaders to step boldly into their hearts and their deepest desires and generate positive change in their personal lives, organizations, and communities. And I'm so excited for this conversation today because this conversation I talk a lot about awakening intuition and using the fullest of yourself out into the world, whether you're out there just in your personal life or you have a business or you're a leader in some sense, whether you're an author or something out there in the world. So whatever you're doing, this conversation about awakening the fullness of our potential in this world. And this is the one person that I couldn't think would be a better person to have this conversation with. So perfect. So I have some questions for James today, and then we're going to actually do a couple exercises and actually experience energetic work. So you want to first explain to us, when people talk about energy or intuition, it's kind of like frou-frou, so can you explain to us what that means and what's happening on a deeper level?
Absolutely. I like to demystify the energy healing work because really it's what we experience every day. It's what we experience physically around us. It's what we experience with our emotions, with our thoughts. And there's a deeper part, that which connects us, which we call the spiritual, these deeper movements of life, our soul, our connection with one another that are part of that as well. So really energy is all of those things together. So what we're doing with energy healing work is we're becoming aware of those patterns and how they work in our bodies, and then also developing ways of being where we can use that energy out in the world and create things that are more of what really serves us and serves other people as well.
Can you explain just intuition, like what that means? People talk a lot about like a gut feeling, or you get a vibe from it in a space that you're in. Can you explain what that is and what's a little deeper with that?
Yes, I mean that's a big question, but yes. So intuition is really when we allow ourselves to be aware of what's going on. We're actually getting flashes of what really serves us and other people all the time. Like we go into a room, for example, and we get a sense of, oh, this feels really comfortable, or something doesn't feel quite right. But what we usually do in our society is we override that and we go into the brain. And we really don't allow ourselves to feel and connect with that. So really intuition is very, very simple. It's allowing ourselves to start connecting with those other pieces, breathe into that, and allow ourselves to be informed with what's going on. So sometimes that shows up for people like flashes of things in your mind, of a sense of knowing. Sometimes it's just like sometimes people feel it very much in their body. It's like a gut feeling we oftentimes hear, or sometimes like a closing in the heart or an opening or things like that. And importantly, what we're experiencing when we get that is both ourselves and what we're experiencing in the outside world. So part of what we do with the energy healing work is we get better and better at recognizing what's our stuff and what's going on with others, so that we can be more clear and more accurate when we pick up things with our intuition.
So everybody experiences intuition in different ways. So you said you can feel it, can you see it, can you taste it, touch it? How can we experience it and know when it's just a thought that we're having or it's actually some information is moving through our body? So how do we tell the difference, and then also what are the different ways that you could experience it as an individual?
All right, that's a really, really good question. Because oftentimes, especially in the realms when we do spiritual classes and different classes on intuition, we pick up on something and then the immediate thing that the mind does is, okay, was that me, or was I actually picking up on something accurate? And the truth is it's always a little bit of both. So it just takes practice. It takes a lot of recognizing what a pattern feels like within us. So like if I go through a certain pattern, at this point I've done the work enough where I can sense that flavor, the way that I'm feeling it in my body, that's me. And if it has a different flavor to it, again, it's like It's really like anything, like yoga. When you're doing yoga, you're just trying to get through the exercise of it. But as you do it more and more, you start being able to isolate muscles. You start feeling, oh, I need to correct a little bit here, things like that. It's the same thing with intuition. We're just kind of like making adjustments within our body and noticing, this is me, this is the other person. I'm blocking a little bit here. What happens if I breathe in and let go a little bit more? And then we start getting more information. So it's kind of a little bit of a dance that we do as we pick up on intuition more and more. And we learn to not project as much as we do that.
Yes. Yeah. And what I love about this conversation, and the reason why I want to be having this conversation today, is because I believe this is really how we're shifting. So in our society. So it's shifting from an external way in which we are moving through the world. So our parents, our teachers, our religions are guiding the way in which we move into the world and what we create. And this shift here with being really aware of the intuition and the inner state of being is opening up within us first, having that knowing of what's your next move coming from within you, within your own heart versus what other people are expecting of you. And then that's the way in which you create your life, your business, your relationships. It's an inner movement to out versus external guiding how we think and who we think we should be. So do you have any thoughts about that, of like how we're shifting as a culture? And do you believe like this is shifting more and more people are waking up to this concept, or just about this concept in general? Do you have any thoughts?
Yes, I completely agree with that, as you, I think you know. And because there's a way that, like you look at traditional business, and there's a way of being in the world that's very much power over. So power over other people, power over even our own being, like mastering our own being, power over nature, rather than power in concert with. And I really feel more and more people are connecting with their bodies and noticing the impact of their life, what they're doing, and that impact on others. It takes shifting from this myopic, very focused sense on what serves me, how do I get my needs taken care of, to, okay, it actually serves me more when I allow myself to take care of myself and the larger whole, this larger system that I'm part of. It's better in business, it's better in our families, it's better with our friends. It actually creates a dynamic where everyone prospers, everyone thrives, and then everyone relaxes, and it kind of feeds upon itself. We open to more love, we open to more compassion, we start seeing each other more so that we can start continuing that evolution toward a way of being that really serves all of us.
So it's almost like, in what you're saying, is collectively we have these ideas that we've taken on from outside of ourselves that really run the show. It's like culturally dominated concepts that guide how we act or how we're experiencing. So this work, this energetic work, clearing the space within yourself to get reconnected to who you were before you were, like when you were born, like a pure slate, like being able to tell the difference between what's you and what's outside of you. So that you can live more fully, more joyfully, more who you are. Like, what is it guiding us? What is it guiding us to be, or who is it guiding us to be?
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful question. I don't know what the potential is exactly with that. I mean, I know for my own life, we were talking earlier, the more that I open, the more that I feel like I'm in kindergarten, and that there's so much more. Just the sense of well-being, of love, of bliss that we can feel in connection with life. Becomes more and more, and not separate from the challenging things. Like for me, that's one thing that's been surprising going through life more and more, is really feeling deep sadness when you're sad is a beautiful movement.
Yeah.
You know, it's taking in more of life. And so when I experience that with groups, with leadership, with families, with different groups, there's a way that, again, there's a positive spiral with that, and there's a way that I mean, it's like we can sometimes experience when we're making love, or when we're doing meditation, or when we're really connecting with a group of friends and it feels really good. There's a feeling sometimes where you're very much yourself, but you lose yourself as well, and you become really connected. And there's a way of like we become much more than just the sum of the parts, to use that phrase. Like it grows into something else. So yeah, what is the potential with that? I think that we're just kind of opening the door with that. For me, that's what's exciting about having these type of conversations, doing what you're doing with your show, and encouraging that more and more out in the world. Like, we need a lot more of that.
Yes. And I love what you said about it honoring also the painful aspects. So every part about ourselves, so not just the things that we're excited about, but the parts of us that have been challenging, and honoring all of those pieces as well as a part of who we are, and also how we can contribute in this world. I've been discovering the more and more, and I've learned this so much from you, and I've also actually been going to James for 13 years as one of his students. I didn't even mention that in the beginning. And the more and more I explore and not run away from the pain, I've discovered that this is an access point for creativity, for my writing, for my speaking. Like, this here is how we can connect and feel more compassion to others. And along with what you're saying is like experiencing the fullness of this life, because we are here for such a short time. And I think that this work for me and for so many of us is, how can we let go of what we think we should be doing or what we have to do later, and get as present as we can, as often as we can with this practice, so that we can have the fullness connections with the people that we love, or just like loving this experience right now. Like, I'm loving interviewing you right now, and it's like enjoying, like really, really enjoying life to the fullest that you can. Our mind can keep us from being present, but it's like you're just so in it, and time disappears in a way.
Yeah.
Just like you said, there's like no, it's like limitless.
Yeah. Rumi has a poem called The Guest House that speaks to that a lot, and I won't say the whole thing, but basically it's about really just embracing everything, welcoming everything through the door, and it really transmutes it. It creates something very different in our experience when we don't make experiences, other people, life around us other. When we invite it in and really take it into our being and feel what the dance is between us and the other, or what we're seeing as that being outside of us. And then we really start living the oneness. Like, we feel that in our bodies. It changes everything. Yeah.
I love that. So we're all interconnected. So whether you realize it or not, there's like an energetic stream that interconnects us through our hearts, through our emotions, and so like this is really perfect with how you're, in your relationships, or if you're in your business, or in any way, like how to be aware of the dynamics between you and other people. And you're saying, like, if triggers come up, or like how can we bring this into relationships with other people?
Right.
So we can optimize them.
Yeah, absolutely. And even in business, like, there's certain things that you can't do as much in business just because of the setting. But much more than we think. We can actually do the shift inwardly. We can still do the inner work, and then it changes how we word things. It changes how we might respond in the moment. Instead of firing off the email when we feel upset about the boss or the client doing something, we go through our own process and we feel and recognize, this piece being triggered for me. What am I really needing? How can I be with that? And do some work with ourselves so that we shift that, and then we show up much differently with those that we work with. And again, in the beginnings, people tend to be pretty cautious and protective of themselves, but as you set that type of environment more and more in any setting, then the dynamics start shifting pretty rapidly. People start feeling safer, they start opening up, they start mirroring that type of behavior, and then it really opens this way of being, even in business, where we start really becoming much more supportive of one another, thinking of what serves the whole and things like that.
And it's almost like you're in a meeting with your partner or your team, and you're able, they call this, a lot of companies do mindfulness, corporate mindfulness training. And this is a little bit deeper. We're talking about like the energetics today, but this is a form of mindfulness, of bringing it into life. So you think of meditation or yoga or energy healing work. You're with a team, and when we're able to let go of our outside worries or what we have to do later, just anything, the dynamic of the team is able to be more creative, or like the possibility of what can come out. It'd be almost even surprising. Like, can you speak on that?
Yeah, and I did a lot of work before doing work with businesses. Well, my background is actually originally business, doing producing and so forth for multimedia and projects like that. helping with a startup company. So I started in business and then actually went into more of the esoteric work just because I loved it and it really fed me. And so for the past, I guess, decade, maybe a little bit more, I've really been bringing that work more back into the business realm because we really need it there. And so there's I'm forgetting your question a little bit, but
in dynamics of teams when we're coming from this space, and this could be even in families, I mean in everything, but you're in a team, the energetics, clearing it out, what's possible in terms of like your creativity and what comes through can be far greater than what your mind can even come up with.
Yeah. There's so I started to say with when you look at family dynamics or relationships, if we experience ourselves only in relationship with it being a dangerous place where we have to protect ourselves, that's not much of a relationship. You know, and a lot of all of us have experienced relationships like that, right? And if we can start opening and start building trust and really connecting, it surprises people how much is there, how much we can actually connect, how much we can feel safe and loved and supported and bringing our creativity out and really being seen. Well, relationship is relationship. We can do the same thing in business settings. Again, you have to set the groundwork, and there's certain things that you can do to really accomplish that. But once you start building that, it's amazing what can happen with a team when you start building that. Just creating safety, just creating a sense of well-being, people start discovering more of what's possible within them. And what I oftentimes hear in working with teams, working with families also, is this feeling of it's much more than I thought it could be. You know, like it's like puts us on our growing edge, and we can do that with business as well. And
it opens up my heart so much. This conversation. So we're going to do just a quick exercise because I'd love for the people watching to, at home, get to actually experience what it feels like when you drop this energy into your body, so out of your head, and getting to start to feel the fullness of who you are in this world. And just notice after this exercise and after this conversation that you're listening to, just being aware of how you feel when you're connecting with those in your workplace or your friends, your family, or your lovers. So will you give us an experience of how to, what would you call this, like energizing our body, clearing our energy field?
Yeah, it's an energy clearing and centering exercise. Okay. There's lots of them, but you would ask for one that people could do at their desk. So
if you're at work and you're sitting and you're just like, I just need to like move, or not at your desk.
Okay, but something that people can do at any point in their life.
Yes.
So we'll do one. Don't do it if you're driving. You can do it later, but this is something that you can do that will really center and relax your system. So it's good to just breathe in and close your eyes.
Do you do this sitting too or standing? Does it matter?
You can do it. Sitting with a straight spine is really good, but you can actually do it standing and do it laying down.
Okay.
So the important thing is staying present and also relaxing your body. So whatever supports you in that. So just start by taking a deep breath in, and there's many ways of doing this with breath work. A way that I like to do it is breathing in through the nose. So taking a deep breath in through your nose and feel it travel all the way down through the length of your body. And with the exhale, with intention, just letting go of any of the stress, worries, thoughts of the day. And then taking another deep breath in. And with this next breath, imagine feeling the top of your head relaxing open and feeling a white light, or if it works better for you, like a waterfall of energy. It's just a visual cue, traveling down through the top of your head, staying with your deep breaths as we do this. So again, with the in-breath, you're breathing in and you're asking to open, like you did beautifully in the beginning before we started taping, just like setting the intention. So we're setting the intention to clear and open our bodies and open to what truly serves us in this moment, knowing that the mind doesn't always know what that is. So as you breathe in, you're taking that down through the center of your body, down through the top of the head, all the way down right by the spine, down through the root, down through the legs, down through the soles of the feet, and also down the arms, out through the palms. So just noticing, like with a waterfall, you don't have to do anything to receive it. You're just breathing in and letting go and taking in that energy. And with the exhale, again, just letting go of any thoughts that travel through, not trying to push anything away, but just letting go of any stress, any parts of your body that might be holding. And so continuing with this process, and I usually do it for like 5 minutes daily in the morning or in the evening. And to add one more piece with it as you're breathing down, there's something called the chakra system. They're just main energy centers of the body. So just focusing on opening right at the top of the head, breathing in. And then as you feel that energize, focusing your awareness right on the forehead, front and back. And feeling that open and energize. And the face relax. And with the next breath, feeling the throat, front and back, relaxing and opening. With the next deep breath in, feeling your heart center relaxing and opening. Again, front and back. And then moving down to the solar plexus area. Again, as before, front and back. Just feeling that area of the body relaxing as well. Moving down to what they call the second chakra, usually about 2.5 inches, 1.5 to 2.5 inches below the navel. Feeling that energize and open front and back. And finally connecting right in between the legs, connecting right at the point, like a plumb line below the top of the head. Feeling that area of your body open as well, really feeling yourself grounding, connecting with earth, with life, and then feeling the energy down your legs. So I did a description in the beginning, that might have been a minute or something like that, but literally you can do that in like 2 or 3 minutes, just in the middle of the day, before going into a meeting. If you're stressed about something, you can feel like, I feel more relaxed, I feel like my whole body feels more energized. If we do that on a regular basis, we actually train the body to naturally move into that when we go into challenging situations rather than going into fight or flight.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so relaxed, I just can't talk. So good. Yeah, this is a state of, like you said, practicing it through yoga, meditation. It's like it is working a muscle because we're so trained in our world now with social media and things are moving so quickly that our brain is like moving like this. And so this is a practice. It's like a muscle. I think it's probably the most important thing that you could practice. It is, I believe, the most important thing you could practice on a daily and consistent basis so that you can show up in your fullest potential every single day with what you're creating in the world. So like you said before, you get on the camera and you're speaking to your audience, or you're writing your book, or writing a post, marketing content, or just connecting with someone that you care about. Coming from this space allows for something so much deeper, such a richer experience in this moment. And when you look back on life and you just think, wow, like those are the moments that you're going to remember, where you just were so in your heart and feeling just so alive. Yeah, and I love this too. And so you could open this up through, like I said, meditation, yoga, or even dancing and singing and all different types of ways. So really find what works for you and what opens you up. So thank you so much for this World Native episode. I'm so excited for you all to watch this, and I'd love to hear all your thoughts. So please comment below, let us know what you learned from this, and also please share this with your friends, your family. And James, how do we just connect with you if we want to learn more about what you do, or your workshops?
Our website is www.artofheartfulliving.com.
Okay, perfect.
Kind of a longer one, but www.artofheartfulliving.com.
Yes, perfect. And he hosts incredible workshops, does one-on-one coaching, so many amazing things. And so I've been going in for 13 years, and my life is completely different because of this person in front of me. So I have so much gratitude
Well, same
Thank
here.
you so much.
And I'm so excited about what you've created here because I think it's really important and needs to be out in the world. So
Yes,
wish you the very best with all of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much.
Sure.
Love to
Thank
you
you.
all. Woo! Have an amazing day. Ah!